here's a set of data. So they give us this whole long list of data. It says identify the 5-number summary for this data. So the 5-number summary. This is, and they're telling us what it is right here. It's the minimum value, the Q1, the median, the Q3, and the maximum. So let's go through that. So first off, the minimum. That's just the lowest number. So notice how this data starts here with the low, and it goes here to the high. This data is already in order from low to high, low to high. The lowest number is 65, the highest number is 868. So the low is the 65. And the max, let's go ahead and do that one right now, that's the highest number. So that's going to be right here, the 868. So now we're trying to get these 5 numbers that will summarize the data set. So next we got to get Q1, right? So this is the minimum here, the max here. Here's supposed to go Q1. So what's Q1? Well, Q1 is it's the end of the first quarter. So imagine a basketball game or a football game. You know, if you break basketball games and football games are broken into 4 quarters, right? So here would be Q1. It's the end of the first quarter. So that's the same thing as P25, 25% of the way through the game, right? At the end of the first quarter of a basketball game or football game, the game is 25% over. So Q1 is really P25. It's the 25th percentile. In other words, it's the data value that's 25% of the way along. So it's the end of the first quarter, 25% of the way. So how do we find that? Well, remember, we have a formula for finding percentiles. Let me put it over here. So to find percentiles, step number 1, you take P over 100 times N, and that's called the locator. And step 2, if the locator is a decimal, then you round it up and find the data value in that spot. And so it's important to know the roundup means even, like, for example, 8.1 would round up to 9, and then we would find the data value in the 9th spot. So it's a locator. You go locate the 9th data value. So the answer wouldn't be 9, it would be the data value in the 9th spot. Remember, this is a locator. Now, step 3 is if the locator was a decimal, we round it up, find the data value in that spot. But what if the locator comes out to be a whole number? If the locator is a whole number, so in that case, what we do is we find 2 data values. That spot, and the next spot, and you average them. You add them and divide by 2. You take the average of them. So if it's a whole number, you average 2 data values. So, all right, so let's get back to this problem then. So we're supposed to find the 25th percentile, so let's take P over 100 times N, so 25 over 100. That makes sense because it's per cent, right? A century is 100 years, a cent is 1/100th of a dollar. So 25%, 25 per 100, times N. N is always the total number of data values. So let's count them. Here we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 data values. So n is 12. So if you do that in your calculator, you're going to come out with 3. Now 3, that's a whole number. It's not a decimal, huh? So I'm going to go with this plan. Whole number, what do you do when you get a whole number? Find 2 data values, that spot and the next spot, add them and divide by 2, average them. So go find the third and fourth data values. So because it came out 3, a whole number, find that spot and the next spot. So 1, 2, 3, 3 and 4, there they are. Third and fourth data values, 159 and 292. 159, 292. You add them and divide by 2. In other words, you take the middle of them, the average of them. So I'm going to do that on my calculator right now. I'm getting 225.5. So there it is. That's the Q1. Let me write it right here. 225.5. That's the value that's a quarter of the way through the data. Notice that value is right here. 225.5. That's 1/4 of the way through the data list. See how that's 1/4 of the way along? It's right in the middle of the third and fourth data values. So here's the lowest data value, that's the minimum. Here's the Q1, which is 1/4 of the way through the data. Next, we're going to find the median. Right here, that's what comes next, right? Median, which is halfway. So the median, that's exactly in the middle. So that's P50, the 50th percentile. These are just percentiles. So that's 50% of the way through the data list. So let's do the percentile thing again. P over 100 times n. P is 50. 50 percentile, 50 per 100 times n. N was 12, right? 12 total data values in this list. Yeah, 12. So that comes out 6, which is a whole number. What do we do with a whole number? We're going to find 2 data values, right? That's what it says. If you get a whole number, find 2 data values, that spot and the next spot. Find 6th and 7th values. Let's go find it. So here they are, 6th and 7th. So 640 and 776. 640, 776, add them and divide by 2. In other words, take the middle of them, the average of those two. On your calculator, I'm doing it right now on my calculator, comes out 708. So that's the median. That's right in the middle, 708. That's right in the middle of these two guys, which is right in the middle of the whole data list, right? Because it's after the 6th number. There's 12 numbers total. So that's the middle, 708. We have one number left to go, the Q3, 3/4 of the way through the data set. That's what comes next. Q3, third quartile. Let's do it. So Q3, that's P75, isn't it? It's the 75th percentile because it's 3/4 of the way through the data list. It's 75% of the way along. So same formula again, P over 100 times N. 75 over 100 times N. N is the number of data values, 12. And so that comes out 9, which is again a whole number. What do we do for a whole number? Find 2 data values, that spot and the next spot. So let's go find the 9th and 10th values in that list, and we're going to average them. Where is it? There they are, these two, 9th and 10th data values, 790 and 832. So 790 plus 832. Got to add them and divide by 2 because you want the middle of them. You're going to average them. And 811. There we go. That number must be the Q3. 811, that's right here. That's right in the middle. 811 is right in the middle of 790 and 832. So in other words, it is 3/4 of the way through the data. So these 5 numbers, why people like this, why this is considered valuable in the professional world, is because these 5 numbers now are a way of summarizing all the data. We only had 12 data values, but this would work even if you had 10,000 data values. You could just look at these 5 numbers and you would know a lot about all 10,000 numbers. In our case, it's only 12 numbers, so it seems a little silly. But this is very useful to people in real life because it summarizes data. You can quickly look and say, look, here's the middle. Among all the numbers, this is the middle. This is 1/4 of the way through. This is 3/4 of the way through. This is the lowest number and the highest number. We've basically broken the data into 4 sections, haven't we? Bottom section, first 25%, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. That's what we're doing by this 5 number summary. We have the lowest and the highest and the 3/4 marks. So there we go.